Hey everyone, I'm NornQueenAlexis and welcome back to the channel. Today, we have a brand new update for the Charadon sector. Charadon? 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 I don't know how they're supposed to pronounce this. I always kind of pronounce it Charadon or Charadon. But yeah, so if you guys haven't had this campaign book, don't worry, there's barely anything in it. And the biggest things in it are some Forge Worlds for Forge World Metallica, and some stuff for the Death Guard. But you're probably wondering what the story is in this and why we're talking about it today. Well, it's because the second book is coming out, and the second book is far more interesting because it has Sisters of Battle in it. And as you guys know, I like Sisters of Battle the most in 40k because I have an inherent bias towards them. They are beautiful, nuns with guns, Melta maidens, and look absolutely incredible. So, what is Charadon? So, to explain this, we need to know that the War Master Horus is still on his... Horus? No, Abaddon, the successful one. Abaddon is still on his tirade around the Imperium. So he's doing what he does best and attacking key locations to weaken the Imperium overall. So right now he is attacking the Charadon sector. In the Charadon sector is Forge World Metallica, which is probably the best name Forge World. Although I am biased towards Agapina as well. I really like them. But that being said, he is sending Typhus, who just abandoned the campaign or is currently in campaign with Mortarion right now. The timeline is a little bit messed up about this one, and it's one of those things that actually bugs me because he sends Typhus to go to this sector to deal with the Forge World, to set up a biological agent to destroy the entire sector and to put it under the banner of Nurgle. But the problem with that is currently Typhus is assisting Mortarion on Ajax, and Gilliman did his whole thing. Read Godblight, I'm not going to spoil it. But needless to say, he should be there currently, so I'm guessing this takes place after that. I'm thinking this is the next campaign after that. But Typhus has kind of just been... Right after that event, went to the Tau, got defeated, went to Charadon. I don't know why you would keep employing Typhus when he literally only fails. It's kind of like the Alpha Legion in that regard. Speaking of Alpha Legion, they're also in this sector. The Word Bearers, the Black Legion, oh my god, who else went? It was the Black Legion, the Alpha Legion, Death Guard, and somebody else. I can't remember the somebody else. But regardless, all of them showed up, and the Imperial Defenders showed up, which was Forge World Metallica with all of their Titans, their Knight household that's also there, their Skitarii, their Admech forces, as well as Imperial Defenders such as Space Marines and Astra Militarum. I tend to forget what Space Marines were involved in this. Let's see if I could just find the list of them really quickly, or at least some pictures of them, because that would be even easier. So, no, because that would be super cool to have a list of everybody involved. But regardless, without diving too deep into the lore, this is a campaign book. It's meant to play through the entire thing. Yeah, I actually can't find it. Oh! The other thing is, Traitor Admech are in this book. They're not in the rules, obviously, because Forge World hates the idea of adding a new army to 40k for some reason. But they're in here. And so are the Titan Mortibus. The Evil Titans are also in this book, in the lore itself. So now, why are we talking about this? The next book is coming out. And the next book has the Sisters of Battle coming to the rescue, with more than likely Space Marine allies. So I'm really excited about the next book, because this book, honestly, is forgettable. It's cool if you play Death Guard. It's not necessary if you play either army, because they function better without these rules, in my opinion. But somebody out there is going to disagree with me, so I am ready for that. So let me throw on my headset really quickly. There we go. Okay. Let's go over to YouTube really fast, and let's take a look at this. We have the Sunday preview, deciding the fate of the Charadon sector. Now again, this I'm super interested in because Warzone Charadon Act 1, the Book of Rust, saw Typhus invade the sector, bringing it to kneel, and in Act 2, the Book of Fire brings the epic battle to a conclusion. So this is only going to be a 2-part series. I really thought it was going to be 3, but it's 2. I guess it's kind of like Vigilus and Vigilus Ablaze in that regard, where Abaddon completely nullified that sector. Like, that whole place is going to be under construction for the next amount of years. The forces of the Death Guard march ever closer to victory on Metallica, whose losses would be catastrophic for the Imperial's future war efforts across the segmentum. Okay. While the forces of a shadowy malevolence takes advantage of the chaos to enact its malicious schemes, yeah, that's Be'lakor. Be'lakor is manipulating everything. Also, Be'lakor has it out with Abaddon currently because in the fall of Cadium, Abaddon ordered Be'lakor not to attack Terra yet, and instead attack Cadium. And Be'lakor thought this was a stupid idea and went directly to Terra and got absolutely trashed by the Imperial Fist. Nah, never mind. He actually completely annihilated the Imperial Fist. They never put up a challenge. But the Legion of the Damned showed up, and he was all like, Ghost Warriors, and got defeated by them. And since then, he's been resummoned on Metallica. And this is kind of a huge thing in the lore right now because we finally have Be'lakor back, which I just bought his model. So I'm really excited about him. This book is available to pre-order next Saturday in a gorgeous hardback as well as... Yeah. So finally we get a special edition book that isn't just a full art cover. It's still a full art cover, but it at least changes with a map. It kind of looks like... It changes color a little bit. I haven't seen the special editions worth it too much. But let's see what happens. This book will feature a wealth of background information plus a narrative campaign allowing you to play the key engagements for yourself. So again, this book isn't going to be necessary, but it's really cool. Oh, the Night Lords. That's who's in this book. The Night Lords. They pretend that they're real people. Good old Bat Boys. Engagements for yourself and see how you match up against Typhus and Mournval as generals. So we finally have Mournval in a campaign. So I'm really excited about that because a Lord of Terra going into combat with Typhus. More than likely Typhus isn't going to die because plot armor. Mournval isn't going to die because she now has plot armor because she has a model for sale. Considering the only model in 9th edition that is dead canonically, is Creed. And he still has a model and you can still play him. I think he's the only current dead model in 40k. Okay, there are also 2 armies of renown to form the Disciples of Be'lakor and the Skitarii veteran cohort. And a codex supplement for Adeptus Sororitas, Order of Our Martyred Lady. Now that is interesting. I wonder if they would actually give us our named characters. You know, like all of them that had names. Which is dumb. So it'd be kind of cool to get some named characters for each of the orders themselves. Considering they don't have to, do anything different. Just buy the kit, call it the named character, and that's all they have to do. Like the chick from Vigilus Ablaze, that really, really, really cool Canoness, whose name I cannot remember right now, but everybody thought was like a corrupted Sister of Battle because she has like the 10 star above her, which by the way is the Mark of the Emperor. And she also had like a few other things. She had an Inferno pistol, she had a sword, she was really cool, and I really wanted her as a playable character, and then she wasn't. So that was fun. This book also the range of Chaos Space Marines. I wonder if this book will update Chaos Space Marines to have 2 wounds. They will have updated with their FAQ changes and formatted for the current edition of Warhammer 40k. So this book is going to be more necessary for Chaos Space Marine players than Sister of Battle players. But it's good because Chaos Space Marine players desperately need things right now because they're kind of terrible. Where Sisters of Battle are really, really, really solid. Admech are really good. Drukhari are excellent. And Necrons kind of suck, which is a shame. They were the first... Bleh. Let me try to breathe. Can I breathe? Yes, I can. This time of year always screws with my allergies. But out of all the codexes, Necrons actually need a slight point decrease because they're not competitive as much as the other updated codexes. So let's see what we got in here. We got the Word Bearers, which is a really fun legion to play if you haven't. The Red Corsairs. Now, I actually love these guys because their story is so, like, honestly silly, where they're trying to be, like, rebellious against the Imperium, but they're ultimately falling to chaos, damning themselves for all eternity. So they think they're the good guys, when in reality they're the bad guys. Night Lords, Bat Boys. The only good thing to come out of the Night Lords is Arendensky Boden's books about them, which makes them excellent, and I highly recommend his books about them, but any other books about them kind of suck. Crimson Slaughterers are in here, and I'm surprised, to be honest. I really thought the Crimson Slaughterers would have been dropped, to be real. This was the Chaos Space Marine Legion that kicked off with the start of 7th edition, and confused a lot of people because they're painted like Khorne Marines, essentially, and they use Psychers. So a lot of people got really confused when this came out because they're like, wait, they're dedicated to Khorne, how can they have Psychers? When in reality, you can be dedicated to a Chaos God and do the complete opposite thing of the Chaos God, and they might even give you favor for it, because that's kind of how Chaos works. They're kind of contradictory on their own. That's their nature. But jokes aside, they use Slaughter Priests and blood magic for the most part. But the Crimson Slaughterers are interesting to put here. I don't know how I feel about them. Alpha Legion is always a solid army list, and I wonder how broken it's going to be. I remember the days of Alpha Legion freaking... if you guys don't remember Alpha Legion Khorne Berserkers, there is something... You've never played a competitive game using Chaos. That was terrifying. The Purge is in here again, and the Purge actually makes an appearance in this book. So that's kind of cool to see them in here. That is probably a direct reference to the movie. Iron Warriors, Iron Within, Iron Without, Iron Shake It All About. Really fun army to play, really broken for a little bit and then got fixed. The Scourged, I don't know too much about them. Emperor's Children, the most whiny of Marines, the paragons of stupidity, the Emperor's Children, who went from being the most notable of Space Marines to the worst in terms of what they do to people. The Brazen Beasts. Huh. I haven't heard about them in forever. Last I remember, they were still with the Blood Pack, I think it is, which is the Astra Militarum that fell to Khorne. So it's cool to see them back in. World Eaters, ever popular, ever fun, always amusing. These guys desperately need an update because they have a fight first and double fight rule, which is very, very strangely worded, especially with nowadays addition ruling words. My brain stopped halfway through that sentence. They have a double attack that with current rules is very confusing because it says in the fight phase instead of at the end of the fight phase. They can be selected to attack again. Now, granted, that has been FAQ'd, but it would be better to get it in a hardback book. Flawless Hosts, think Emperor's Children, but somehow make them creepier. And that's what you get here. I'm really wondering what they're going to do with the Emperor's Children double attack. I'm curious to take some guesses, but I think it's going to be like on 6s, Emperor's Children explode for shots. So, and I'm thinking World Eaters are going to explode. I think World Eaters are essentially going to play as Bloody Rose, where they're going to get the explosive hits on 6s in close combat, and where 6s to wound do mortal wounds. Because to me, that makes a lot of sense, and it's very World Eater-esque, where they could just chop down anything. Black Legion is essentially going to play as Ultramarines. Creations of Bile is really kind of a silly list. And I absolutely love it. And I love the fact that they're ditching like the old Lucius the Eternal, because he was such a stupid character, and diving into Fabius Bile, who is the mad scientist. And honestly, I really like it. Fans of Rick and Morty would probably like the Creations of Bile, because it's essentially a Rick and Morty episode. I wish I was kidding, but it's written as one. So we get the actual book itself, and for some reason this sister decided to lift her helmet. This sister isn't wearing a helmet, and this sister is smart enough to wear a helmet. You know, you can't not... Put down your helmet. Put down your helmet. Stop it. Stop pointing. Put down your helmet. Amid the Ashes. So we're not getting a big book. We're getting one of the small mission books, which is kind of cool too. So we get some more Crusade stuff, which I have yet to play Crusade, and I really want to. So I'm interested to see what the bigger book is going to offer versus the mission book. I'm hoping it's all of this, all fully updated, all of them having 2 wounds. Please. So then we got an update for Blood Bowl. I really don't care. Then we got an update for Tyranids, and I was really excited about this until I realized it's pretty much absolutely nothing. Oh, there was supposed to be like a special announcement thingy. That's why I put my headphones on. Ah, right at the beginning here. Okay, let's just wait for that to reload really quickly. Are you going to reload? Here, let's reload the page. Come on. Come on. Come on. You can do it. I believe in you. There we go. Okay.
Hello and welcome to This Week in Warhammer. My name is Max, and I'm going to be guiding you through the next 7 days of your favourite hobby. Next week is a big week in the charity.
That's a bold assumption that it's my favorite hobby. My favorite hobby is actually shopping. It's a hobby. It counts. It's a terrible hobby, and I usually buy some of your stuff along with it. But don't assume my favorite hobby is 40k.
Charadon sector.
You're right, but
release
still.
Of the next Warzone Charadon book and Warhammer
Charadon.
4000 mission pack. Warzone Charadon Act 1, The Book of Rust, saw Typhus invade the sector, bringing it to its knees. Now, Act 2, The Book of Fire, brings this epic battle to its conclusion. This book is available to pre-order from next Saturday in both incredible hardback and truly stunning collector's edition. There are also 2 armies of renown in the form of the Disciples of Be'lakor and Skitarii veteran cohort.
I don't know how I feel about Skitarii veteran cohorts, but overall I'm really excited about this book, and I think it's going to be interesting. Like, flat out, anything that includes Sisters of Battle I'm always interested in, and it's just going to be fun regardless. But what I'm really interested in is to see if Be'lakor and Morin Val go toe-to-toe. Like, I want to read that fight. Or if Morin Val goes toe-to-toe with Typhus. Or if somebody dies. I doubt it, considering it's 40k and no character dies ever. But it would be really cool to see Typhus finally bite it and die. And, like, it doesn't... Like, my biggest thing is, if a character dies, you can still play them on tabletop. There's no difference. Like, it would be cool to see a canonical ending to some of these characters. Like, do we really need Lucius the Eternal? He's kind of crap. Do we need Fulgrim? He's kind of a whiny little prick. Like, out of all the Chaos Primarchs, can we kill him off? Because we already have him as a loyalist. Like, we have the loyalist Clone Grim going around, and... he's currently in the vault with Trazine, but even still, we have him around. It would be cool to see him more instead of the twisted version of him. But if they're going to bring him back, I want to see him, Angron, Mortarion, Perturabo, and a few others as just giant chaos creatures. I want to see them more represented. But that's just me, and I know that won't happen for a very long time, but is what it is. And I'm really disappointed that this book isn't going to be bringing in the Dark Angels, but the Dark Angels are gearing up for their own book, where they're going after, what is his name? Luther. They're going after Luther because he escaped. My theory is that Azrael released him. That's my theory. I have this big conspiracy theory in my head that Azrael realized that Luther was telling the truth and that Luther has fallen to chaos, is chaos, but needs to be released in order for Lion to wake up. That's my theory about it. Strictly my theory. Blow as many holes in it as you want. But I want to know what you guys think about the Charadon books coming out. And if you played anything in this, like, tell me. I really want to know, are these missions actually worth looking into? Because I have a Death Guard player who's really, really nice. He's a super sweet person, and I absolutely adore our games that we have together. And you guys have seen him on the channel quite a few times. So I can play out these missions. They would be rather cool. So if you guys want to see that, comment in the comment section down below. Also, check out my Patreon. Patreon goes a long way to helping out the channel. It has exclusive videos released there like 2 to 3 times a month. So please be sure to check that out. As always, I'm NornQueenAlexis. I love you guys. Bye.